aka Dee. I'm so excited. Today we're going to be reading Lisa Jewell's None of This Is True. It says celebrating her 45th birthday at the hot new local pub, popular podcaster Alex Summer crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other once again. This time outside Alex's children's school, Josie has been listening to Alex's podcast and thinks she might be an interesting subject for her series. She tells Alex, on the cusp of the great things in her changes in her life. Josie's life appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she can't quite resist the temptation to keep going with the project. Slowly, she starts to realize that Josie is hiding some very dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has indulged her way into Alex's life and into her home. But as quickly as she arrives, Josie Fair disappears. Only then does Alex discover that Josie has left a terrible and terrifying legacy in her wake, and that Alex has become the subject of her own true crime podcast, with her life and her family's lives in grave danger. Lisa Jewell delivers the book of her career in this absolute shadow-stopping work of She Said, where two women collide on their birthday night, forcing an unforgettable reckoning between two women with huge but very different ambitions of their lives. Okay, let's get it started and take a sip of water juice. Cammy, can you go on YouTube and see if you can hear me? None of this is true. A novel by Lisa Jewell. So let's see. We're gonna try to read we're just gonna do. We're gonna try to do the first 81 pages. We're gonna try to. Okay. Prologue. Stumbling from the cool of the air-conditioned hotel foyer into the steamy white heat of the night does nothing to sober him up. It makes him feel panicky and claustrophobic. A sweat that feels like pure alcohol blooms quickly on his skin, dampening his spine and the small of his back. How can it be so hot at 3 in the morning? And where is she? Where is she? He turns to see if the girl is behind him and sees her wishy-washy, wavy, in double vision through the glass window of the hotel. And then he sees the car indicate to pull over and his heart race starts to slow. She's here, at last. Thank God. This terrible night is coming to an end. He squints to bring it into focus, to search the driver's seat for the reassuring gleam of her white blonde hair, but it's not there. The window winds down and he recoils slightly. What? He says to the dark-haired woman behind the wheel. What are you doing here? Where's my wife? It's okay, says the woman. She sent me. She had too much to drink. She asked me to bring you home. Come on, in you sit. He looks behind him for the girl, sees her leaving the hotel and walking quickly away in the opposite direction, her handbag clutched tight against her side. I've got water, I've got coffee. Come on, you'll be home in no time. The dog on her lap growls at him softly as she slides into the passenger seat. I thought you left, he says, fumbling behind himself to find the seatbelt. I thought you'd gone away. The woman smiles at him as she unscrews the lid from a plastic bottle of water and passes it to him. Yes, she says, I had, but she needed me. So anyway, drink that. Drink it all down. He puts the bottle to his dry mouth and gulps it down. Then he closes his eyes and waits to be home. Part 1. Coming to Netflix in May. Hi, I'm your birthday twin. Now here's a strange one. Coming your way from the people behind the monsters next door and the serial date swindlers. It's a podcast within a documentary. A kind of pod podimentary, if you will. In June 2019, popular podcaster Alex Summer, better known as her all-woman series of podcasts about successful women, branched out into a one-off project, which she called Hi, I'm Your Birthday Twin, about a local woman who was born on the same day as her. As the project progressed, Summer started to learn much more about her unassuming neighbor than she could ever have imagined, and within weeks, Summer's life was shredded and the two people were dead. Absolutely spine-chilling stuff with some shocking glimpse into the darkest corner of humanity. We guarantee you she'll be binging the whole thing in one day. Hi, I'm your birthday twin, and Netflix original series. Screen is dark. Slowly the interior of a recording studio is revealed. The text on the screen reads, Recording from Alex Summer's podcast, 20 June 2019. A woman's voice fades in slowly. You comfortable there, Josie? Yes, I'm fine. Great. Well, while I'm setting up, you don't mind just telling me what you had for breakfast this morning? Oh, just so I can test the sound quality. Right. Okay. Well, I had toast, two slices of toast, one with jam, one with peanut butter, and a mug of tea. The pot stuff for Mark in the golden box. With milk? Yes, with milk. There's a short pause. The camera pans around the empty recording studio, zooming in on details. The lines go up and down on the monitor, and then a pair of headphones and an empty coffee cup. How is it? Is it okay? Yes, it's perfect. We're all set. I'll count down from three, and then I'll introduce you. Yes, okay. Great. So, three, two, one. Hello and welcome. My name is Alex Summer, and here's something a little different. The audio fades, and then the shot goes back to darkness. The opening credits start to roll. Saturday, 8th of June, 2019. Josie can feel her husband's discomfort as they enter the golden glow of the gastro club. She walks past the place 100 times. Thought, not for us. Everyone's too done, food on the chalkboard outside she never heard of. What is a Buddha burger? But this year her birthday has fallen on a Saturday, and this year she did not say, oh, and takeaway bottle of wine will be fine. When Walter had asked what she wanted to do, this year she thought of the honeyed glowed of the Lansdowne, the buzz of chatter, the champagne and ice buckets of outdoor tables on warm summer days, and she thought of the little bit of money her grandmother had left her last month in her will. And she looked at herself in the mirror and tried to see herself as the sort of person who celebrated her birthday in a gastropub in Queens Park, and she said, we should go out for dinner. Okay then, Walter had said, anywhere in mind? And she said, the Lansdowne, on Southbury Road. He simply raised an eyebrow at her and said, your birthday, your choice. He holds the door open for her now, and she passes through. They stand marooned for a moment in the sign that says, please wait here to be seated. And Josie gazes around at the early evening diners and drinkers, her handbag pinned against her stomach by her arm. Fair, she says to the young man who appears holding the clipboard. Josie, table for 7:30? He smiles from her to Walter and back again and says, for two? Yes. They are led to a nice table in the corner, Walter on the banquette, Josie on the velvet chair. Their menus are handed to them, clipped to clipboards. She looked up the menu online earlier. She would be able to Google stuff if she didn't know what it was, so she already knows what she's having, and they're ordering champagne. She doesn't care what Walter thinks. Her attention is caught by a nosy interest at the club door. A woman walking in clutching a balloon with the words "Birthday Queen" printed on it. Her hair is white blonde, cut into a shape that makes you move like liquid. She wears a wide leg trousers and a top navy suit, two pieces of black cloth held together with laces at the side. Her skin is burnished. Her smile is wide. A group soon follows behind her, other similarly aged people. Someone is holding a bouquet of flowers, another carries a selection of posthumous bags. Alex Summer, says the woman in a voice that carries, table for 14? Look, says Walter, nudging her gently, another birthday girl. Josie nods distractedly. Yes, she says, looks like it. The group follows the waiter to the table just across from Josie. Josie sees three ice buckets already on the table, each holding two bottles of chilled champagne. They take their seats noisily, shouting about who will sit where and not wanting to sit next to their husbands, for God's sake. And the woman called Alex Summer directs them all with a big smile, with the tall man with red hair, who is probably her husband, takes the balloon from her hand and ties it to the back of the chair. Soon they are all seated, and the first bottles of champagne are popped and poured into 14 glasses held out by 14 people with tanned arms and gold bracelets and crisp white silk sleeves, and they all bring their glasses together. Those at the furthest end of the table get into their feet to reach across the table to all say, to Alex, happy birthday. Josie fixed the woman in her gaze. How old do you reckon she is? She asked Walter. Christ, I don't know. It's hard to tell these days. Early 40s, maybe? Josie nods. Today is her 45th birthday. She finds it hard to believe. Once she'd been young and she thought 45 was coming slow and impossible. She thought 45 would be another world, but it came fast, and it's not what she thought it would be. She glances at Walter at the fading glory of him, and she wonders how different things would be if she hadn't met him. She'd been 13 when they met. He was quite a bit older than her. Well, a lot older than her. In fact, everyone was shocked at the time except her. Married at 19, a baby by 22, another one at 24, a life lived in fast forward, and now apparently she should peak and crest, and then come slowly, continually down to the other side. But it doesn't feel as if there was ever a peak, rather an abyss formed of trauma that kept circling and circling with a knot of dread in the pit of her stomach. Walter is retired now. His hair has gone, and so has a lot of his hearing and eyesight. And his midlife peak is somewhere so far back in time and so mired in the white hot intensity of rearing small children that almost impossible to remember what he was like at her age. She ordered feta and sun-dried tomato flatbread, followed by tuna tagliata. The word tagliata derived from the term tagliare, to cut, was mashed cannelli beans in a bottle of Vuvu Chick-fil-A. Vuvu Chick-fil-A's yellow label is loved for its rich and toasty flavors, and she grabs Walter's hand and rubs her thumb over the age-spotted skin and asks, "Are you okay?" "Yes, of course, I'm fine." "What do you think of this place, Sam?" Yeah, it's fine. I like it." "Josie beans, good," she says. "I'm glad." She lifts her champagne glass and holds it out towards Walter. She touches his glass against hers and says, "Happy birthday." The smile fixed on Josie's face as she watches Alex Summer and her big group of friends, her red-haired husband with his arm draped loosely around the back of her chair, large platters of meats and breads being brought to their table and placed in front of them as if conjured out of thin air, the sound of them, the noise of them, the way they filled every inch of the space with their voices and their arms and their hands and their wings. The energy they gave off was effervescent, a swirling, intoxicating aroma of Graydon's glorious entitlement. And there in the middle of it all is Alex Summers, with her big smile and her big teeth. Her hair that catches the light, her simple gold chain with summer hanging from it that skims her gleaming collarbones whenever she moves. "I wonder if today is her actual birthday too," she mused. "Maybe," says Walter, "but it's a Saturday, so who knows?" Josie's hand finds the chain she's worn around her neck since she was 30, her birthday gift that year from Walter. She thinks maybe she should get her an appendix, something shiny. At this moment, Walter passes a small gift across the table towards her. "It's nothing much. I know you said you didn't want anything, but I didn't believe you." He grins at her and she smiles back. She unpeels the small gift and takes out the bottle of Ted Baker perfume. "That's lovely," she says. "Thank you so much." She leans across and kisses Walter softly on the cheek. At the table opposite, Alex Summer is opening gift bags and birthday cards and calling out her thanks to her friends and family. She rests the card on the table and Josie sees that it has the number 45 printed on it. She nudges Walter. "Look," she says, "45. We're birthday twins." As the words leave her mouth, Josie feels the gnawing sense of grief that she had experienced for most of her life rush through her. She never found anything to pin the feeling to before. She never knew what it meant, but now she knows what it means. It means she's wrong, that everything, literally everything about her is wrong, and that she's running out of time to make herself right. She sees Alice getting to her feet and heading towards the toilet, jumps to her own feet and says, "I'm going to the ladies." Walter looks up in surprise from his Parma ham and melon, but doesn't say anything. A moment later, Josie and Alex's reflections are side by side in the mirror above the sink. "Hey," says Josie, her voice coming out higher than she imagined. "I'm your birthday twin." "Oh," says Alex, her expression immediately warm and open. "It's your birthday today, too?" "Yes, 45 today." "Oh, wow," says Alex. "Me too. Happy birthday." "And to you, what time were you born?" "God," says Josie, "no idea." "Me neither." "Were you born near here?" "Yeah, St. Mary's. You?" Josie's heart slapped. "St. Mary's, too." "Wow," Alex says again. "This is spooky." "Are they twins?" Alex's fingertips go to the pendant around her neck, and Josie sees that it's a golden bumblebee. She is about to say something else about the coincidence of their birth when the toilet door opens and one of Alex's friends walks in. "There you are," says the friend. She's wearing 70s style faded jeans with the off-the-shoulder top and huge hoop earrings. "Zoe, this lady is my birthday twin. This is my big sister Zoe." Zoe smiles as Josie smiles at Zoe and says, "Born on the same day in the same hospital." "Wow, that's amazing," says Zoe. Then Zoe and Alex turn the conversation away from the huge coincidence, and immediately Josie sees that it has passed. This strange moment of connection, that it was fleeting and weightless for Alex, but that for some reason it carries importance and meaning to Josie, and she wanted to grab hold of it and breathe life back into it. But she can't. She has to go back to her husband and her flatbread and let Alex go back to her friends and her party. She issues a quiet bye then as she turns to leave and Alex beams at her and says, "Happy birthday, birthday twin." "You too," says Josie, but Alex doesn't hear that. 1 a.m. Alex's head spins. Tequila slammers at midnight. Too much. Nathan is pouring himself a scotch and the smell of it makes Alex's head spin even faster. The house is quiet. Sometimes when they have a high energy babysitter, the children will still be up when they get home, restless and annoying awake. Sometimes the TV will be on full blast, but not tonight. The soft-spoken 50-something-year-old babysitter has left an hour early, and the house is tidy. The dishwasher hums, the cat is pawing its way meaningfully across the lawn, sofa towards Alex, already praying before Alex's hands even found her fur. That woman, she called out to Nathan, pulling one of the cat's claws out of her trousers. The one who kept staring. She came into the toilet. Turned out it's her 45th birthday, too. That's why she was staring. Ha, says Nathan. Birthday twin. And she was born at St. Mary's, too. Funny, I always thought I was meant to be one of two. I always wondered if my mom had left the other one at the hospital. Maybe it was her. Nathan sits heavily next to her and rolls his scotch around a solitary ice cube, one of the huge cylinders, one of the huge ones he makes from mineral water. Her, he says admissively, that is highly unlikely. Why not? Because you're gorgeous and she's what? Alex feels righteousness build in her chest. She loves that Nathan thinks she's pretty, but she also wishes that Nathan would see the beauty in less charisma attractive women too. It makes him sound shallow and misogynistic when he denigrates women's appearances. And it makes her feel that she doesn't really like him. I thought she was very pretty. Those eyes that are so brown, they're almost black, and all that wavy hair. Anyway, it's weird, isn't it? The idea of two people being born in the same place in the same time. Not really. There were probably another 10 babies born that day at St. Mary's, maybe even more. But to meet one of them on your birthday, the cat is curled neatly in her lap. She runs her fingertips through the ruffle of the fur around her neck and closes her eyes. The room spins again. She opens her eyes, slides the cat off of her lap, and runs to the toilet off the hallway, where she is violently sick. Hey, thank you. Just so you know, Lisa Jewell, she likes to give you great details. So this isn't a quick read. It's about 300 something pages. So she's going to give you a lot of detail. So just stick around. I don't know how long it's going to take to get into it before we figure out the gist of it. Sunday, June 9th. Josie awakes suddenly from a shallow puddle of a dream so close to the surface of her consciousness that she can almost control it. You read it? She is in Lansdowne. Alice Summer is there and calling her to join her table. The table is dressed with extra fragrant bowls of fruit. Her friends leave. The pub is empty. Alice and Josie sit opposite each other. Alice says, I need you. And then Josie wakes up. It's the buses. The buses always wake her up. They live right next to the bus stop on the busy dirt road of the cups of Colburn and Paddington. The large Victorian villas on this street were built according to the local history website in 1876 for wealthy merchants. The road once led to a spot at Kilbourne Priory and would have rumbled with the wheels of carriage and clicked with the hooves of horses. Now every grand villa on the road is split into chunkily covered apartments, and the stucco exterior walls are stained the color of old newspaper by the endless traffic that passes so close. And the buses. There are three on this route, and one passes and stops every few minutes. The hiss of the hydraulics as the bus passes as the stop is so loud that it sometimes sends the dog howling into the corner. Josie looks at the time. It is 8:12 a.m., which she pulls back the heavy denim curtains and peers into the street. She is a matter of feet from the faces of people sitting on the bus, all oblivious of the woman spying on them from her bedroom window. The dog is joining her, and she cups her skull under her hand. Morning, Fred. She has a mild hangover, half a bottle of champagne last night, and then finished with a sambuca. So much more than Josie is used to drinking. She goes to the living room where Walter sits at the dining table in the window overlooking the street. Morning, he says, throwing her a small smile before turning his gaze back to his computer screen. Morning, she replies, headed to the kitchen area. Did you feed the dog? Yes, indeed, I did. And I almost took him out. Thank you, she says warmly. Fred is her dog. Walt's never wanted a dog, least of all a handbag dog like Fred, who is a pomsey. She takes full responsibility for him and is grateful to Walter whenever he does anything to help her with him. She makes herself a round of toast and a mug of tea and curls herself into the small sofa in the corner of the room. When she switches on her phone, she sees that she has been Googling Alex Summer late last night. That explains why she's been dreaming about her when she wakes up. Alex Summer, it appears, is a reasonably well-known podcaster and journalist. She has 8,000 followers on Instagram and the same on Twitter. Her bio says, Mom, journal, feminist, professional busybody, and nosy Parker. Failed yoga fanatic and Queen's Parker Dwell lover. Then there is a link to her podcast channel, which is called All Women, where she interviews successful women about being successful women. Josie recognized some of the names: an actress, a newsreader, a sportswoman. She starts listening to one, a woman called Mary Lee June, who runs the global beauty empire. Alice's voice is an introduction into Velvet, and Josie can see why she pursued this particular career path. What's that you're listening to? She heard Walter ask. Just a podcast thing. It's that woman, Alex, who I met in the pub last night. My birthday twin. It's what she does, she replies. She carries on listening for a while. The woman called Murray is talking about her marriage at a young age to a man who controlled her. Everything I did, he controlled. Everything I ate, everything I wore. He turned my children against me. He turned my friends against me. My life was so small, like he took it and squeezed every last drop of me out of it. And then in 2005, he died, quite suddenly, and it was like pressing the reboot button of my life. I discovered that all through those dark years with my husband, when I thought I was alone in the world, there have been a cast of people waiting in the background for me to come back to them. They've been there all along. They picked me up and they took me with them. Their Alice voice is back. And if your husband, and I hope this doesn't sound like harsh or unfeeling thing to say, but if he didn't pass away at such a young age, what do you think might have been your path? Do you think you might have found your way to where you are now? Do you think in any way your success, everything you've achieved, that there might be some kind of destiny at play? Or do you think that it was only the tragic passion of your husband that allowed you to follow this path? That's such a good question, and actually, I think it's all of the time. I was 36 when my husband passed away. At the time of my husband's diagnosis, I was nowhere near strong enough to leave. I'd been subconsciously waiting until the children were older, but I already spent so many years dreaming about things I would do when I did leave that I had the blueprint for my life without him all drawn up, even if I didn't know how I was ever getting away. So it's possible, yes, that I could have followed his path without losing him to cancer, but it just happened sooner, I suppose. What gave me which gave me longer to really build the company, to know it, mature it. To know it, nurture it, grow with it. It would have been different if I waited. And as awful as it sounds, death is a clean break. There are no gray areas, no ambiguity. This is like a blank canvas in a way. And that proved very helpful to me in terms of negotiating endless possibilities that opened up to me during those first few years. I would not be where I am at this very moment had we lived. Josie pressed pause. Her break has caught slightly. She feels almost winded. Death is a clean break. She glances across the room at Walter to see if he's noticed, and he's oblivious. She presses play and listens to the rest of the podcast. The woman called Mari now owns three properties around the world, employs all four of her children in her family business, and is the founder of the biggest anti-domestic violence charity in the UK. At the end of the podcast, Josie sits for a moment and lets all she has heard about this woman's extraordinary life percolate through her. Then she goes back to Google results and scrolls through Alex's Instagram feed for a while. She sees, as she's known she would, a large picture with the island, red-haired children on windswept beaches, views of London scrapers, cocktails and cats, rose gold holidays. Alex's children look young, probably no older than 10, and Josie wonders what Alex was doing for all those years before. What do you do when you're 30 years old if you're not raising children? How do you spend your time? She pauses at a photograph of Alex and her husband. He is tall, even compared to Alex, who is taller than most, and his thatch of a thick red hair looks much redder under the effects of some kind of filter than looks like in real life. The caption says, 15 years today since you came into my life. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been you and me, followed by a string of love card emojis. Josie has social media accounts, but she doesn't post on them. The thought of slapping a photograph of her and Walter onto the internet for people to date at to judge makes her feel queasy, but she's happy for others to do so. She's a consummate lurker. She never posts, she never comments, she never likes, she just looks. Anybody out there like that? You never post, you never comment, you never like, you just look. 8:12 a.m. Sunday dawns hot and sticky. Nathan is not beside her in their bed, and Alice tries to pull the fragments of the night before into some semblance of a bigger picture. The pub, the champagne, the tequila, the walk home around the park, talking to the ducks in the petting zoo through the fence, whack, whack. Nathan pouring scotch, the cat curled on her lap, the smell of the scented red diffuser in the downstairs toilet mixed with the smell of her vomit, peering into the kids' room, eyelashes touching cheeks, night lights, pajamas, Nathan's face in the mirror next to hers, his mouth against her hands on her hips, wanting sex. No. Are you actually mad? Then bed. But the pillow on Nathan's side of the bed has not been touched. Did they have a row? Excuse me. Where is he sleeping? She gingerly climbs out the bed and peers into the ensuite. He is not there. She takes the stairs down the hallway and hears the sound of the children. The television is on in the kitchen, and Eliza is lying on the sofa in front of it with the cat lying on her chest. Leon is on the laptop. Breakfast dishes are scattered across the long, clean kitchen counter. Where's Dad? Eliza glanced up. She shrugged. Leon, where's Dad? He removed his headphones and squinted at her. What? Where's Dad? I don't know. Alex wandered into the garden. The flagstones of the back terrace are already warm underfoot. Nathan is not in the shed, nor is he in the studio. She pulls her phone out of her pajama pocket and calls him. It rings out. Did you see him earlier? She asked Eliza as she walks back into the kitchen. Nope. Mom? Yes. Can we go to the bookstop today? Yes, of course. Of course we will. Alex makes coffee and drinks water and eats toast. She knows what happened and she knows how to expect. It hasn't happened for a few months, but she remembers the shape of it. The awful, grinding nightmare of it. The pleasure of her birthday night lies around in the shadows of her memory, and she sits with her second coffee, remembering something from the night before. The woman in the toilet who shared her birthday. What did she say her name was? Or maybe she hadn't. She wonders what she's doing this morning. She wonders if her husband had disappeared silently in the night, leaving her to wake alone. No, she thinks no. Of course he hasn't. That's not other husbands do, only hers. He reappears at 4 p.m. He reappears at 4 p.m. He is wearing the same clothes he was wearing the night before. He brushes past her in the kitchen to get the fridge, from where he pulls out a Diet Coke and drinks it thirstily. Alex eyes him, waits for him to talk. You were out cold, he says. I was still buzzing. I just needed to drink some more. Yes, well, no. I mean, I could drink here, but I would just want it to be, out. Alice closed her eyes and breathed in hard. We were out all night, from 6 until midnight. We saw all our friends. We drank for 6 solid hours. We had fun. We came home. You had a whiskey, and then you wanted more? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was very drunk. I wasn't thinking straight. I just followed my urges. Where did you go? Into Soho. Giovanni and Rob were there. Just had a few more drinks with them. Until 4 in the afternoon, I took a room in the hotel. Alice growled gently under her breath. You paid to sleep in a hotel rather than come home? I wasn't really capable. It just seemed the best option at the time. He looked appalling. She tried to imagine him stumbling in Soho in the middle of the night, sipping drink after drink from down his throat. She tried to imagine what he could have looked like reeling into a hotel at 4 in the morning, his bright red hair array, breathing the putrid breath of a long night of alcohol and rich foods into the receptionist's face before collapsing into a hotel bed, snoring violently in an empty room. Didn't they kick you out at midday? He rose at the salt and pepper stubble on his chin and grimaced slightly. Yeah, he says. Apparently they made quite a few attempts to get me up. They had to let themselves in the end, just to check. I wasn't, dead. He smirks as he says this, and Alex realized that 15 years ago that this would have been something they would have joked about. It would have been funny somehow. A grown man drinking for nearly 12 hours, going AWOL in Soho, forced the hotel staff to enter his room because they thought he might be dead. Finding him, no doubt, spread eagle and half naked on the bed, oblivious, hungover, and revolting. She would have laughed, but not anymore. Now, not now. She's 45. Not now. Now, she's simply disgusted. Next scene. Josie listens to nearly 30 episodes of Elise Alex podcast over the following week. She listens to stories of women bouncing back from 100 different kinds of courage, from illness, from bad men, from poverty, from war, from mental illness issues, and from tragedy. Those lost children, they lose children, body parts, autonomy. They are beaten, they are humiliated, and they are downtrodden. And then they rise up, each and every one of them. They rise up and find goals that they didn't know they had. The podcast series has won awards, and Josie can see why. Not only are the women's stories inspiring, but Alex's approach is so empathetic, so intelligent, so human that she can make interviews with anyone she chose to talk to sound moving. Josie tried to uncover more about Alex from the internet, but there was very little to go on. She had rarely been interviewed, and when she was giving little away. Josie assumed her to be a self-made woman in control of her life. She assumed she had similar tales to tell as the woman who she interviewed. And Josie entertains fantasies about crossing paths with Alex again, swapping their own stories. Alex may be mentoring Josie somehow, showing her how to be the person she thinks she was and always meant to be. Then one afternoon, there's a new photo of Alex's Instagram feed. It's a birthday party for one of their children. There are balloons with the number 11 on them, and the daughter with the red hair is dressed as a punk fairy, and the father stands behind her watching proudly as she purses her lips to blow out the candle on a huge pink cake, and other people stand behind, their hands cupped halfway to applause, faces set in smiles, and then Josie zooms into the background at the sight of something similar. A school photograph on the sideboard behind the group. The two children in crest polo shirts, pale blue and dark blue logo, and she realizes that Alex summer schools go to the same school that Roxy and Emma went to when they were small. And suddenly she feels it again. Their strange wire connection. that sense that there's something bringing her and Alex together, something in the universe. She pictures Alex Summer in the same playground that she had spent so many years of her life standing in, going into the same overheated office to pay for food trips and lunches, and going being squashed on the same benches and the back of the same small to watch assemblies and activities hanging out the navy sky blue uniform to dry, born on the same day, in the same hospital, celebrated their 45th birthdays in the same club at the same time. And now this, I mean something, she sure does. It means something, she sure does. I feel like I'm reading faster than normal, but I don't know how to slow down. It sounds muffled on YouTube. I told I'm now just seeing it. That's why I asked Cammy if she can hear me. I think they may be able to hear the replay better, hopefully. If not, I'll have to delete the whole thing. But for the time being, I'm gonna record here. Monday, June 17th. Alice watched her husband in the kitchen, his hair still wet from the shower, and the back of his shirt tucked into his chin. She never understood why he doesn't dry himself properly before he gets dressed. Drinking coffee from his favorite mug and nagging her children to move faster. Eat up, get their shoes on. He's acting as if it's a normal Monday, but it's not a normal Monday. It is a Monday after his second bender in the row. The Monday after he failed to come home yet again and appear once more bedraggled and pitiful on a Sunday afternoon thinking of the night before. It is a Monday when Alice has started seriously wondering about the future of their marriage again. If she kept wondering about the future of their marriage this way, this could well be the Monday that marks the beginning of the end. Nathan has always been a walking list of pros and cons from the first time she met him. She'd even written a list after the third date to help her decide whether or not she should carry on seeing him. His behavior the last 2 weekends has suddenly added a huge weight to the cons list, which is bad because the pros have always been quite slight. Being a good dancer, for example, great on the second date, but not so important 15 years down the road with 2 children, 2 careers, and a future to worry about. At 8:15, Nathan leaves. He calls out his goodbyes from the hallway. It's been a long time since they habitually kissed when leaving the house. 10 minutes after that, Alice walks the children to school. Leon is grumpy, Elijah is hyper. Alice walks between them, looking at her phone, checking her emails, looking at the websites for the puppy she promised they would get sometime this year. An Australian left shepherd that should ideally have mismatched eyes and hence is proven possible to find about, which Alice is secretly relieved. She hasn't got space in her head right now for a puppy, as much as she misses having a dog in the house. She just finished recording her 30th episode of All Women. It's launching next week, and then after that, she wants to try something new. The theme has run its course, and she's ready for a new challenge. But she's still waiting for inspiration to strike if her diary is empty, and the empty diary is successful as a full diary when it comes to a career. The children are gone a few minutes later, sucked into the maelstrom of the playground, and Alex turns to head home. After a cloudy morning, the sun suddenly breaks through and dazzles her. She delves into her handbag looking for her sunglasses, and then, when she finds them, she looks up to see a woman standing very close to her. The woman is immediately familiar. She thinks for a brief moment that she must be a mother from the school, and then it hits her. Oh, she says, folding down the arms of the glasses. Hello, you're the woman from the club. My birthday twin. The woman looked surprised, almost theoretically so. Oh, hello, she said. I thought you looked familiar. Wow, are you? Do you have children here? I was arrested at the school. No. Well, not, at least not anymore. They did come here, but left a long time ago. They're 21 and 23. Oh, proper grown-ups. Yeah, they certainly are. Boys, girls, 2 girls, Roxy and Erin. Do they still live at home? Erin does the oldest. Erin does the oldest. She's a bit recluse. I suppose you might call her. And Roxy, well, she left home when she was quite young, 16. 16? Wow, that is young. I'm Alex, by the way. She offers her hand to shake. Josie, the woman replies. Nice to meet you, Josie. And who's this? She asks, noticing a tiny caramel and cream-colored dog on the lead at Josie's feet. This is Fred. Oh, he's adorable. What is he? He's a pumpkin. Or at least that's what they told me. But I'm not so sure. He's full grown. I think he might be more of a mix than that. I do wonder about the place he got her from. I'm not entirely sure they were kosher. I think back on it. I keep meaning to get one of those DNA tests. But then, I just look at him and I think, whatever. Yes, Alex agrees. He's gorgeous, whatever he is. I love dogs. Do you have one? No, not at the moment. We lost our girl 3 years ago, and I haven't been quite able to get my head around replacing her. But I have been looking. The kids, they're at that age where they think having a dog will be really good for them coming into adolescence, the teenage years. Teeny was my dog, the dog I had before I had the kid. This one will be for them, but we'll see. She reaches down to pet the dog, but it backs away from her. Sorry, says Josie over apologetically. Oh, says Alex, he's shy. That's fair enough. Alex glances at Josie and sees that she is staring at her meaningfully. It makes her feel uncomfortable for a moment, but then Josie's face breaks into a small smile, and Alex sees that she is, as she thought one of the nights they met at the club. Quietly, she's really pretty. Neat teeth, rose-petal lips, a small Roman nose that gives her face something extra. Her hair is hazel brown and wavy, parts aside and side back. She's wearing a floor print t-shirt and a blue denim skirt, and has a handbag also made of blue denim. Alice noticed the dog collar and lead are blue denim too, and senses a theme. Some people have that, she pondered, a repeat motif. Some define an aesthetic tick that somehow makes them feel protected. Her friend's mother only bought things that were purple, she recalled. Everything purple, even her fridge. Anyway, Alex says, unfolding her glasses and putting them on. I better get on. Nice to meet you again. She turns to leave, but then Josie says, there's something I'd like to talk to you about, actually, if you've got a minute. Nothing important, just to do us with us being birthday twins, that's all. She smiles apologetically and Alex smiles back. Oh, she replies now? Yes, if you have a minute. I'm so sorry, I can't really now. Maybe another time? Tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Wednesday? Oh God, Josie, I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm busy pretty much the rest of the week, to be honest. She starts to leave again, but Josie presses her hand gently on her arm. Please, she says, it would really mean a lot to me. There is a stream of tears across Josie's eyes. She sounds desperate somehow, and Alex feels a chill pass through her. But she sighs softly and says, I have a spare hour tomorrow afternoon. Maybe we could grab a quick coffee. Josie's face drops. Oh, she says, I work afternoon. Alex feels a sense of relief that maybe she has swerved the commitment, but then Josie says, listen, I work at the alternative place by Kilborn too. Why don't you come along tomorrow? We can chat then. It won't take longer than a few minutes, I promise. What is that you want to talk about? Josie bites her lips, as if considering sharing a secret. I'll tell you tomorrow, she replies, and if you got anything that needs also, bring it along. I can give you a 20% discount. She smiles just once and then she walks away. Thank you for liking the live. 6 p.m. Josie works part-time, midday to 5:30, 4 days a week. She works at 6 for nearly 10 years, ever since it originally opened, and it was her first job ever, at the age of 35. She always made clothes for the girls when they were little, and given that she left school at 16 with virtually no exams and then spent the next 2 years looking after her husband and raising children, she didn't have many skills to draw on. When she finally decided it was time for her to do something outside the house, she could have worked with children in a school maybe, but she's not great with people, and this job is not public facing. She sits behind her sewing machine next to a huge sash window which overlooks the tube tracks and rattles its spring every time a train goes past. She chats with the other women occasionally, but mainly she listens to Heart FM on her earphones. She spent the whole of today sewing large fake fur beards onto printed images of a groom's face on 28 drag t-shirts. They were all off to Rick apparently, but usually it's just Tim's and waistbands. Walter is sitting at the dining table in the window when she gets home, staring at the laptop. He turns and hits her with a single smile when he hears her. Hello, he says. How was work? Work. She thinks about telling him about the fake fur beards, but decides that really it would be it would lose her talent. How was your day? Keeping the dog into her arms and kissing his head. Quiet. Did some research into the Lake District. Oh, that's nice. Find anything good? Not really. Everything seems so expensive. Feels like one big ripoff. Well, remember, I've had my windfall. We could probably stretch it a bit further this year. It's not about whether we can afford it, he says. Don't like feeling ripped off. Josie nods and puts the dog. Oh my goodness. Josie nods and puts the dog back on the floor. Half the reason the dog is not a real policy is that Walter used to pay to go wait for a real policy and was determined to get a bargain. He just go along with it. What shall we have for dinner? She says. There's loads in the fridge, some of the ready-made meatballs. I can make pasta. Yeah, that'd be great. Put some chili in it. I fancy something spicy. So he been sitting at home all day. I mean, he been working, but like, but he up about yeah, put something spicy in it. Like you should have started it. Josie smiled. I'm just going to get changed first, she said. Then I'll start. She walks past Aaron's room to get to hers. The door is shut as always is. She can hear the squeak of the gaming chair in Aaron's room, the expensive one they bought her for her 16th birthday. It's held together with duct tape these days. Walter put WD-40 on the base every few months, but it still squeaks when she moves. Josie can hear the click of the buttons on the controller and the muted sound effects leaking from Aaron's headphones. She thinks about knocking on Aaron's door saying hi, but she can't face it. She really can't face it. The stench in there, the mess. She'll check in on her tomorrow. Leave her to it for now. She touches the door with her fingertips and keeps walking. She acknowledges the guilt and lets it pass away like a cloud. But as soon as the guilt about Aaron passes, her concern about Roxy turns up. They always come in a pair. She picks up the photo of Aaron and Roxy that sits on top of the chest of drawers in her bedroom, taken where they were about 3 or 5. Fat cheeks, long eyelashes, toothy smiles, colorful clothes. Who would have guessed? She thinks to herself, who would have ever guessed? And then she thinks of Alice Summers' children this morning in their Parkside Prairie uniforms, the girl on a snazzy scooter, the boy scuffing his feet against the pavement, their smooth skin and their hair that shows no that she knows without going anywhere near them will smell of clean pillowcases and children's shampoo. Young children don't exude smell. That happens later. The shock of scalpy hair, of armpits and cheesy feet. And that's just the beginning of it. She sighs at the thought of sweet children she once had as she sets the photo on the desk. She changes and washes her hands and heads back to the kitchen. Opens the fridge, takes meatballs from the fridge, a can of chopped tomatoes, and some dry herbs from the cupboard. Chops an onion, watches Walter tapping at the buttons on his laptop in the window. Sees a bus pass by, registers the face of the passengers on the board. Thinks about Roxy, thinks about Erin, thinks about the way her life has turned out. When the meatballs are simmering in their tomato sauce, she covers the pan and opens another cupboard. She pulls out 6 jars of baby food. They're the biggest jars for 7 months plus babies. They're mainly meat and vegetable blends, but no peas. Aaron's not confident peas. Sophie takes off the lids and microwaves them. When they're warm but not hot, Aaron will not eat hot food. She stirs them through and places them on the tray with a teaspoon and a piece of paper towel. She takes a chocolate Oreo mousse from the fridge and adds that to the tray. Then she takes the tray to the hallway and leaves it outside Aaron's room. She does not knock. Aaron won't hear. But at some point between Josie leaving the food and Josie going to the bed tonight, the baby food jars will reappear empty outside Aaron's room. Is she saying this grown woman is eating baby food, or did I? Girl, hey Keith, thank you so much for the gift. I can't. Um, Another bus passes by. It's empty. Walter closes his laptop and gets to his feet. I'll take the dog out before we eat. Oh, that's okay. I can do it. No, it's good for me. Fresh air, exercise. Well, are you alright picking up after him? Just kick it in the gutter. You can't do that, Walter. Of course I can. His boo-boos are like rabbit droppings anyway. Please pick it up, she beseeched. It's not nice leaving it there. I'll see, he says, taking the dog's lead from Josie's outstretched hand. I'll see. She watches them leave from the front window. Fred stops to sniff the base of the tree, and Walter pulls him along impatiently, his eyes on his phone. Josie wishes she's the one walking, Fred instead. Dogs need to sniff things. It's important. She stirs the meatballs in the hob and then adds a few flakes of dried chili. She pours water into a pot and pours it on to boil. She turns on her phone and goes to borrow and types in Roxy's hair. Then she goes into tools and sets a timer to past week so that she only sees the most recent results. She does that twice a day, every day. Every time there is nothing. Roxy has probably changed her name by now, and she knows that. But still, you can't stop looking. You can't just give up. At 8 p.m., Walter returns with the dog. Did he poo? No. Are you sure? Very sure. He's lying, but Josie isn't going to push it. They eat their spaghetti and meatballs in front of the TV. Walter makes out it's really spicy and knocks back his pint of water, theoretically, and Josie laughs indulgently. They get up to go to bed at 10 p.m. The empty baby food jars are outside Aaron's room. Josie takes them to the kitchen and rinses them for recycling. Walter is brushing his teeth in the bathroom, naked from the waist up. He looks like an old man from behind. It's easy to forget what he once was. Josie gets into her pajamas away from Walter and finishes in the bathroom. Then she goes in and brushes her teeth, brushes her hair, washes her face. smooth cream into her skin and onto her hand. In bed, she picks up her book and opens it and reads for a while. At 11 p.m., she turns on her bedside light and says goodnight to Walter. She closes her eyes and pretends to sleep. So does Walter. After half an hour, she feels him leave the bed. She hears his feet soft against the carpet, then the creak of the floorboards in the hallway. Then he is gone, and she stretches out across the empty bed, knowing that this is hers for the rest of the night. The name of the author for Unhinged is Octavia Grant. Hi, I'm your birthday twin, a Netflix original series. The screen shows an empty floor armchair in a large open plan studio. From the side of the screen, a young woman appears. She wears green dungarees over a cropped black dress top and has tattoo sleeves on her arms. She sits on the armchair, across her legs, and smiles at the camera. And the text at the bottom of the screen says, Amy Jackson, Josie and Walter Fair's neighbor. Amy laughing. We call her Double Denim. Interviewer off screen. And why is that? Because everything she wore was denim, literally everything. Screen switches briefly to a photo of Josie Fair in a denim shirt and jacket. Interviewer, why did you move into the flat next door to Josie and Walter Fair? Amy, I suppose it was late 2008, the same year I had my first baby. Interviewer, and what did you think about Josie and Walter as neighbors? Amy, we thought they were really kind of weird. I mean, he was okay. We thought he was her dad. When we first moved in, he always nodded and said hello if we passed by him in the hallway, but she was really unfriendly, acting like she was a bit better than anyone. But then sometimes I wonder if maybe she just standoffish because she was trying to keep people out of her business, you know? If maybe there was stuff going on behind closed doors. Interviewer, did you ever meet their daughter? Amy, yes. When we first moved in, we used to see both of the girls quite a lot. I guess Erin was about 12, Roxy must have been about 9, 10. It was a loud household, a lot of shouting, a lot of slammed doors. And then one day, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, it suddenly went really quiet, and we never really knew why until all this happened. Interviewer, all this? Brief pause. Amy, yes, all this, all the killings, all the deaths. Screen fades to black. Tuesday, June 18th. Stitch is a lovely bright place formed beside the skeleton of what was once a Victorian harbor estuary. It still has original curved bowed windows at the front and a huge dash window at the back overlooking the two tracks. In between are six sewing machines in two rows. Alex spots Josie at the machine nearest the back. She has earphones in and her hair is tied back into a low ponytail. Alex takes her canvas back to the desk and smiles. Hi, she says. Is Josie in today? The woman calls over her shoulder to Josie, who looks up as she then pulls the earphones and smiles widely when she sees Alex. She holds up a finger and mouths just 1 minute, and then finishes what she's doing. Hi, Alex says, brushing bits of thread and lint off her jeans. You came. Yes, you reminded me that I had things I've been meaning to tell you, been meaning to get altered since literally before I had children. She opens the bag and shows Josie two dresses. One of them a maxi dress with straps that are too long, another a maternity dress she always wished she could still wear because the print is so pretty. Sorry, y'all, like my nose this morning. And I don't have any cleaner. Apologies. You need to put this one on, Josie says, holding out the maxi dress so we can see how far it takes the straps up. Here, she pulls back the curtain of the changing cubicle. I'll just be out here when you're ready. Alex takes the dress from Josie and steps into the cubicle, slips out of her summer dress and then puts on the maxi dress. It's odd to feel Josie's hand against the skin of her shoulders and her upper arms as she fiddles with the straps. Straight cut, she says. Given that you're already quite tall, you think the straps would be perfect on you. Can't imagine anyone shorter standing a chance with this dress. It's like they think all women are meant to be built like giraffes. She slides clean into the fabric and then stands back and smiles. That's okay, she asks, turning to Alex towards the mirror. Alex nods. Perfect. Then Alex changes into the maternity dress and she and Josie chat about pregnancy as she pins the waist into a shape. Her hands are fluttery around Alex's men's dress and she smells like dust overlaid with body spray. Alex redresses and waits until while Josie rings the work to the till, applies a 20% discount with a flourish, and presents her with the bill. So, Alex, what was it you wanted to talk to me about? Josie glanced quickly about herself, checking that nobody's listening in, and then says, I saw that you're a podcaster. I mean, I heard you were saying your name in the lows down that night. and thought it was sounding familiar, so I Googled you and realized why I heard of you. It's not like I'm a stalker or anything, and I listened to some of your podcasts. So inspiring. Those women, I mean, the things they've been through is just incredible. And she pauses and checks around herself again. I hope it doesn't sound strange, but wonder, have you ever thought about doing a podcast about someone who's about to change their life rather than someone who's already has? Oh, says Alex in surprise. No, no, I haven't. But I can see how that could be interesting. Yes, that's what I thought. You can follow along someone's progress as they break through the barriers and achieve their goals as they're doing it. Yes, absolutely. But I suppose the problem is that people often don't realize that their lives are changing for the better until after the event, when they stop to look back. Josie frowned. I'm not sure that's true. Because listen, it's happening to me. It's happening to me right now. I've been living the same life for 30 years. 30 years. Been with my husband since I was 15 years old. Nothing has ever changed. I have worn the same clothes, have the same hairstyle, have the same conversation at the same time, sat on the same side of the sofa every single night of my life for 30 years. And the things, she pauses and Alex sees a red flush blast her from her collarbones up to her cheeks and her neck. The things that have happened to me, bad things, Alex, really bad things. My marriage. She paused and takes a breath. My husband is, he's very complicated, and our family life has been quite traumatic at times, and I don't know. Listening to your podcast, those amazing women, I'm 45. If I don't break through the past now, then when will I? It's time. It's time for me to change everything, and I'm not asking you to help me, Alex. I just want you to. She stops and she tries to find the right words. You want me to tell your story? Yes, that's exactly what I want because I know I look quite ordinary, but my story is extraordinary and deserves to be heard. What do you think? Alice is silent for a moment, not sure how to respond. Her instinct tells her very strongly to walk away, but she came for a reason. She came here because the journalist inside her couldn't resist the tantalizing instance of the words. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. She wanted to hear what Josie was going to tell her, and now she's heard that Josie has an extraordinary story to share. And even though Alice is slightly repelled by Josie's intensity, she is also sickeningly drawn to the idea of finding out what it is. I think, she says, that it sounds like a very interesting idea. What are you doing tomorrow? Next scene. Alice walks home through the back streets between Kilbourne High Road and Queens Park. The June breeze is cool, and she walks on the sunny side of the street. She has 2 hours before she has to collect the children from school, and she can't face going back to work on the editor of the final podcast of the All Women series. She's bored of listening to women who made good decisions and ended up exactly where they wanted to be and feels strongly and sharply that what she wants right now, as dark clouds begin to gather across the light in her own life, is to bear witness to the dark truth of another woman's marriage. Alex feels the buzz of anticipation inside her. She's been doing the same thing for so long, the thought of doing something completely different and stimulating. She takes a detour to the boutique of Salisbury Road and spends an hour leafing through clothes she doesn't need before leaving with a pair of forest green framed sunglasses that she doesn't need. She goes to the Lexington and buys expensive pasties to eat in the garden tonight so that she doesn't have to cook. She buys brownies from Gals and a cactus plant from the trendy florist. The money she spends is Nathan's money. Nathan's money that he earns selling leases on glamorous high-rise office spaces in various corners of the city. He works so hard. He earns so well. He's so generous. He never looks at his bank statements or makes snidey comments about clusters of designer bags. His money, he always tells her, it's her money. The money she earns is also her money, but he doesn't expect her to contribute to family expenses. And as she thinks about the little things, she feels the pros and cons list in her head start to shift a little, swinging back and forth towards the pros. The memory of the empty bed on Sunday morning starts to fade away. The thought of him unconscious on a hotel bed diminishes. The hum of low-level anger and resentment mutes. She will open wine tonight. They will eat the expensive food on the terrace and sit and marvel at the way the midsummer sky is still light at 10, and let the children stay up past their bedtime to listen to music on Spotify and have the sort of night that people expect someone like her to have. Hmm. It's okay. It's okay. I'm coming around to it. Wednesday, June 19th. Josie stares at herself in the mirror the next morning. Her skin looks nice. It's hereditary, nothing to do with expensive creams or treatments. Her hair needs a trim. It's far too long and splitting at the end. She unzips her denim makeup bag and takes out a tube of mascara. She never really wore makeup to walk the dog, but then she never really met a famous podcaster halfway through walking the dog. She colors her face with bronzer. She She colors her face with bronzer using a huge fluffy blush and puts on some scented lip balm. Then she pulls on her favorite dress. It's made of denim and buttons up the front to the shirt collar and ties at the waistband with a matching belt. She wears it with her denim vans and she just denim down. Her denim vans and appraises herself in the full-length mirror. Walter is in the window overlooking the street staring at his laptop. She tries to avoid his gaze and she will wonder about the makeup and the smart dress, and she doesn't want to tell him about the meeting with Alex until it has happened and she knows what it means. She stands in the hallway and puts the dog's harness on. Take your Fred out now, she calls out. See you in an hour or so. Walter nods and says, see you soon. She turns to leave and pauses for a moment outside Aaron's room. Aaron will be sleeping now. She sleeps late until at least lunchtime. She could open the door a crack, just grab a glimpse of her baby, but she knows what else lies on the other side of the door, and she doesn't have the stomach for it. Not now, maybe later. Halfway to Salisbury Road, Fred starts bawling and she picks him up and tucks him deep into her dog carrier. She loves the feeling of having him there, close to her chest. It reminds her of carrying her babies in slings. Baby, baby born, baby Bjorn, they were called. Walter had thought they were for hippies, sneering at her clipping the babies into them. Said, what's wrong with the pushchair? Works fine for my other two. She spots Alex immediately by the beacon of her white blonde hair and angle of face and shoulders. She waves at Alex, waves back, and then they do a kissing thing that takes Josie by surprise as she never really kissed anyone. She follows Alex to one of those trendy coffee shops on Salisbury Road, and the one she walks past all the time and never stops at. And she tries to insist on buying the drinks, but Alex won't let her. It's an business expense, which makes Josie get goosebumps. So, Alex is a moment later, pushing her coffee cup to one side and sliding an iPad across from his place. I've been thinking about your idea. At first, I wasn't sure. You've listened to my podcast, so you know the format. There are fully fledged stories with a beginning, middle, and end, which means that even before I start recording, I know what the format will be. I've done it 20, 30 times, and I know what I'm doing. I know how to get the story onto tape and how to edit it to make it different for the listeners. But this will be very different. I have no idea how your story is going to end, but you're promising me it won't be worth following, and so I'm ready, already kind of hooked of it. Hooked, I'm already kind of hooked. But I want to know, and if I want to know, then maybe the listeners want to know. So I think we could give this a bash. You know, it won't be for my all women series that finished now. This will be something completely new and different and one off. The interviews will be mainly studio based. I also love to talk to you in various locations that tie in with your story, where you were brought up, where you went to school, where you met your husband, all that kind of thing. And then we can take it forward into the traumas you mentioned and what you're going to do next to escape the trap you found yourself in. I thought I might call it, Hi, I'm your birthday twin. I don't know if you remember, but those were your first words to me in the ladies' room as the lamps down. I feel like it signifies the beginning of a journey that can go in absolutely any direction. The first moment of me colliding with you, that spark, if you like. How does that sound? Josie realized she had stopped breathing and moving. Her teaspoon is still suspended over her Americano, the sugar she added still unstirred at the bottom of the cup. She stares at Alex and nods. Yes, it sounds good. Alex smiled. Great, she said. It would mean spending a fair bit of time together, but you work part-time and your children are fully grown. So maybe you're able to squeeze it in an hour or two here or there. Yes, says Josie. Yes, definitely. Where do you do it? Where do you record? At my house, I have a studio. Alex fingertips clutch her golden bead pendant and slide it back and forth along the chain. We can make a test episode, just you and me chatting for an hour in my studio. I'll edit it and get something back to you for you to listen to. No obligation. You'll be totally free to walk away from it if you don't like how it sounds. I promise. Josie thinks of Alex's 8,000 followers on Instagram. In her mind, she sees a sea of white blonde women with broad shoulders and oversized sunglasses, all listening to her tough expenses all listen to her through expensive AirPods as they cook healthy dinners for their red-headed children in open plan kitchens. She shakes her head slightly to dislodge it. It's too much. Instead, she zooms in on the central pinprick notion of sitting in Alex's studio for an hour, just the two of them talking. She has so much she needs to share. She picks up her coffee cup and takes a sip, then carefully places it back in the saucer. I suppose we give it a bash, she says. You can at least try. Next scene, Walter's in the kitchen when she gets back from the coffee with Alex. He's making a tea and offering to make her one too, and she says, no thanks, I just had coffee. He raises an eyebrow at her. Oh yeah, on your own? No, she says, taking Fred out of his carrier and putting him down on the floor. No, she freezes. She can't. He would be horrified. He would talk her out of it. I bumped into a mom from Aaron and Rocky's old primary school. We had a quick catch-up. She turns away but recovers herself quickly. It wasn't even a lie. It was true. Nice. Yes, very nice. We might meet up again. She knows he won't ask anything else. Walter didn't really have much to do with the girls' schooling, especially after all the businesses with the social service when Aaron was in year six. I'm going to get ready for work, she says, hanging Fred's harness back on the coat rack. Walter nods and then does a double take as he comes out from behind the counter with his tea. You look all dressed up, she says, just read her button-down dress. She looks down at her dress. Yes, she says, all my other summer stuff needs a wash. And I thought, why not? You look lovely, he says, nodding approvingly. Very slim. Thank you, she says, touching her stomach. Just a flattering cut, I suppose. He appraises her once more and nods. Lovely. He smiles, but there's no warmth in his voice. Thursday, June 20th. Alex Studio is at the bottom of the garden. It was Nathan's 40th birthday present for her, in recognition of how well her newly launched podcast is doing. He sent her away. He sent her away on the girls' weekend, and it was all professionally fitted. Then wrapped the shed in an oversized ribbon and glued her in the blindfold of her return. It is any wonder that Alex is torn about her marriage when her husband is capable of such acts of generosity and affection, whilst also capable of making her want to die. She switches on the power of the Nespresso machine at the wall and places a vase of flowers on the desk. At 10 o'clock, the doorbell rings and Josie is on her doorstep with her little dog in her shoulder bag. I hope it's okay to bring Fred, says Josie. I should have checked. No problem at all, replies. I have a cat, but as long as he's in the studio with us, she won't bother him. Come on through. Your house is beautiful, says Josie as she follows Alex through the open plan kitchen at the back of the house and out to the garden. Thank you so much. My house was probably beautiful at once. It's one of those big stucco villas, but the council chopped them into flats in the 70s and now they're ugly. Alex smiled and said, so sad. Ron is full of places like that. Josie oohs and ahs about Alex's studio, runs her hands over the gleaming recording equipment past the flat foam head of the microphone. Will I be talking into that? She says. Yes. Josie nods, her eyes wide. She lets the little dog out of her carrier and trots around sniffing everything. Alex makes Josie a cup of tea and herself an espresso. They pull on their headphones and face each other across the recording deck. Alex does a test run with Josie, asks her the standard question about what she had for breakfast, and then they begun. Josie, first of all, hello, and thank you so much for giving me your time so generously. I cannot tell you how excited I am to start this project. For listeners coming across from my regular podcast series, All Women, welcome and thank you for taking a punt on me doing something new. For new listeners who come upon this podcast from another angle, welcome. So let's kick it off with easy questions. Josie, what's your name? What is it short for? It is in fact short for something. Josie shakes her head. No, she says. No. Just Josie, not short for anything. Named after anyone? No, not that I know of. My mom is called Pat. Her mom was called Sue. I think she just wanted to give me a pretty name, something feminine. So just to set up the premise for everyone, the story behind the title of the podcast, Hi, I'm your birthday twin, is that those were Josie's first words to me when we met in our local pub that night we both turned 45. Josie and I are not just birthday twins, but we were born in the same hospital too. And now we live less than a mile apart in the same corner of Northwest London. So before we get into your life story, let's talk about your birth story. What did your mom tell you about the day you were born? Josie blinks. There's a ponderous silence that Alex already knows she might need to edit out. Well, she says eventually, nothing much really, just that it hurt. Alex laughs. Well, she says, yes, that's a given. But what did she say? What did she tell you about the day itself? The weather, the midwife, the first time she saw you? There follows another silence. Like I said, nothing. She never said anything, just that it hurt so much she knew she never would do it again. And she did it? No, she did it. So no siblings? No siblings, just me. What about you? Oh, Josie stops and puts her hand against her heart. Sorry, am I allowed to ask you questions? Yes, absolutely. Am I the one of three girls? The middle. Oh, lucky you. I love a sister. Sisters are the best. I'm very lucky. And tell me about your mom. Pat, is she still around? Oh, God, yes, very much so. She lives on the same council estate where I was born, runs the community center, looks after the old people, shouts at the politicians, works with the anti-gun unit, gang unit, all of that. Larger than life, louder than life. Everyone knows her. It's like she's famous. What about your father? Oh, he was never in the picture, my dad. My mom got pregnant by accident and then went off and had me without even telling him. I've never met him. Alex Alice shuts her eyes and mentally loops back to the man in her club on her birthday, who she assumed to be Josie's father. So in the club on that night we met, the man you were dining with, that was my husband. Yes, not my father. And no, you are not the first person to make that mistake. My husband is a lot older than me. I've been with him since I was 15. Josie pauses and glances up at Alex. Alex tries to hide her surprise. 15, she repeats, and he was 42. 42? So if he was 42, that means he's 72 now? Ain't no way she been with this man for 30 years. I was thinking maybe 20. He was already 30 years older than her. What the heck? Just about. Oh, uh, Alex falls silent for a moment. Wow, that's, yes, I know. I know how it seems. But it didn't quite feel like that, like it sounds at the time. It's hard to explain. Josie pursed her lips and shrugged. There's power in being a teenager. I miss the power in some ways. I would like it back. In what ways was there power? Josie shrugged again. Just in the way that you've had something a lot of people want, a lot of men want, and a lot of them want it. They want it so much. You mean you? Yes, that's exactly what I mean. And when you meet someone who is very clear about what they want, and you know that the only thing that stands between what they want and what you have is your consent. Sometimes a very young girl, there's a power in giving that consent, or at least that's how I felt at the time. That's how they make you feel. But really, it's not, is it? I can see that now. I can see that maybe I was being used, that maybe I was even being groomed. But that feeling of being powerful right at the start when I was still in control, I miss that sometimes. I really do. And what it's like, more than anything, is to get it back. Alex used a brief silence to play out, to allow Josie's words the space they needed to hit home to her listeners. She maintains her composure, but under the surface her blood races with shock. And you and Walter, how did you meet? He was a contractor doing the electricals around our estate. He was the project leader, and my mom, of course, made it her business to get involved with it. So one day when I was about 13, I was sitting in my room and the doorbell rang, and I looked out and he was standing there. He had his high beef vest on, holding his hard hat in his hand. That was the first time I saw him. Alice said, and what did you think? Josie issued a small laugh. I was 13. He was 40. There wasn't much more to think, really. I wasn't until my 14th birthday that I could tell there was something else going on. He walked into the house and I was blowing out the candles on my birthday cake. I was there, friend. I was there with my best friend Helen, and my mom invited him to stay for a slice of cake. And he sat next to me, and I was. Josie exhaled to make it sound like she was punched in the throat. It was just there, like an invisible monster in the room. A monster? Yes, that's what it felt like. His interest in me. It felt like a monster. So you were scared of him? Not of him. No, he was nice. I was scared of his wanting me. I couldn't believe that nobody else could see it. Only me. It was so big and real, but my mother didn't see it. Heather didn't see it, but I saw it, and I was scared of it. So it didn't feel like power did. Hey, Erica. Well, no, and yes, it felt like both things at the same time. It was confusing. I became obsessed with the idea of him, but it was another year just until anything happened. Hi, I'm your birthday twin, a Netflix original series. The screen opens with a woman pulling a small suitcase through an airport. She is tall and heavily built, and her dark hair pulled back into a small bun. The next shot shows her sitting in a cafe with a cappuccino on the table in front of her. The text beneath her reads, Helen Lloyd, Rosie's fair school friend. Helen starts to speak. Josie and me were best friends from when we were about 5 years old from primary school. Helen paused. There was a short silence. Then she said, she was always a bit odd. Controlling, she didn't like it when I had other friends. She always wanted to make things about her. Passive aggressive is the term they use these days. She would never come straight out and tell you what was bothering her. She made you go all around the house to forget it. She was a sulker too, the silent treatment. We'd already started to grow out of each other when she met Walter. The interviewer asked the question off mic. So what else was like when she met Walter? Weird. I mean, he was an old man virtually, and that was that. From her 14th birthday, she just disappeared into this other world with an old man. The interviewer interjects, would you say Walter Fair groomed Josie? Well, yes, obviously, but Helen's eyes go to the interviewer. She touches the rim of her coffee cup. As bad as it sounds, as weird as it sounds, it was a two-way street, you know? She wanted him, and she made him want her. 11 a.m. Josie walks home from Alice's house an hour later, her head still swallowing. She thinks of Alex's home from the front, a neat terrace house with a baby bay window, no different than any other London Victoria terrace house, but inside a different story. A magazine house, ink blue walls and golden lights, and a kitchen that appeared weirdly to be bigger than the whole house with stone gray cabinets and creamy marble counters and a tap that included boiling water and the touch of a button. A wall at the one end reversed purely for the children's art. She remembered pinning the girls' artwork to the fridge with magnets and Walter cutting and taking it down because it looked messy. Then the garden with its fairy lights and winding paths and a magical shed at the bottom of the container, yet another world of wonder. Even a cat unlike she'd seen before, a Siberian, apparently, tiny and fluffy with the huge green eyes of a cartoon Disney princess. Her handbag goes inside the pocket of her handbag. Her hand goes inside the pocket of her handbag, where she touches the smooth skin of the espresso pod she'd taken when Alex wasn't looking. There was a huge jar of them on the shelf behind the recording desk, all different colors, like oversized gem songs. She doesn't have an espresso machine at home, but she just wanted to own a little bit of Alex glamour. Stuck it into a drawer in her snazzy flat, know it was there. So she's just still in the espresso pod. Oh, Walter's at his laptop in the window when she gets home. That's his favorite spot, just on his laptop by the window. He looked at her curiously, his eyes fused through the screen prescription of his reading glasses. She told him she was seeing the school mom again. He raised an eyebrow but not said anything. Now he says, "What's really going on?" A spurt of adrenaline shoots through her. "What do you mean?" "I mean," he says, "you've been gone ages. You can't have been drinking coffee all this time." "No," she says, "I went to see my grand after at the cemetery. A pre-planned fib." "What for?" "I don't know. I just briefly weird dream last night about her and it made me want to go and see her. Anyway, I need to get ready for work. I'll be back in a sec." She walks towards her bedroom, hears the sound of Aaron gaming chair through her bedroom door. Squeak, squeak. The cough is just notices that the smells from Aaron's room is starting to drift out into the hallway. Now, she can't put it off much longer, but not now, not today, tomorrow definitely. So I'm guessing that her daughter's room smell like a pigsty, because if all you're doing is eating, playing the game, and sleeping, you ain't watching no tail. And I don't know how far you can go without telling your child that they need to watch their tail at the right age of 23. She touches Aaron's door with her fingertips as she passes, then kisses them. In her bedroom, she picks up a photograph of her small girl from the top of the chest of drawers and kisses that too. Then she takes an espresso pod from inside her handbag and tucks it into her underwear drawer, right at the very back. "Hi, I'm your birthday twin," a Netflix original series. The screen shows a leather chair in an empty city pub. Muted light shines through a dusty window. A man walks in and sits down. He wears a white shirt and jeans. He smiles. The text on screen reads, "Jason Fair, Walter Fair's son." Ooh. He starts to talk. He has a Canadian accent. "The last time I saw Dad, I guess when I was about 10. The interviewer interjects off mic. "Because he left my mom for a teenager, and my mom was so disgusted that she immigrated us out of the country. And that teenager was Josie Fair." Yes. Jason shakes his head and sadly drops his gaze to the floor. When he looks up at the camera again, he seems to be crying. Sorry, could we just..." The screen fades to black. 8 p.m. Nathan doesn't come home from work that night. Alice feels like the dreadful inevitability of it in her gut from the minute the clock ticks over from 8 p.m. to 8:01 p.m. He said he'd be home at 7, even accounting for last-minute delays or phone calls or problems on the tube. 8 o'clock marks the cutoff point for explainable lateness and tips it into something darker. She texts him. He doesn't answer. At 8:30, she calls him and goes to voicemail, and she knows. Alex knows. Next scene. When the children are in bed at 9, Alex takes a glass of wine into the studio and listens back to her interview with Josie from that morning. They had talked for over an hour, but hearing it now, Alex suspects that the whole conversation will be edited down to about 10 minutes. And those 10 minutes will be the ones that Josie has spent talking about how she met her husband. Alex had been barely able to breathe. She barely nodded, her eyes wide, not interjected, with questions just listened and absorbed. A 14-year-old girl, a 41-year-old man. Alex thinks of the man she barely noticed in the restaurant on Saturday night. The man she had assumed to be Josie's father, nondescript, balding, faded, deep spectacle. They stopped recording before Alex had been able to uncover more about what happened after the birthday cake moment on Josie's 14th birthday, what had led to Josie and Walter becoming a couple. They will discuss that at their next meeting. But the tiny prickle of excitement that she'd been feeling since the first moment she decided to make a show about Josie is growing by the minute. She can sense something bigger than her here. Something dark and brilliant with every fiber of her being. Next scene. Back indoors, Alex looks at her empty wine glasses and considers for a moment the possibility of topping it off. But no, it's gone 10 o'clock and she is tired, and she wants a clear head tomorrow when she wakes up in which she already knows to be an empty bed and has to deal with the aftermath of Nathan's latest bender so soon after the last, and this was on a school night. Her message to him remains unread, and her final attempt to call him goes to voicemail again. She feels the adrenaline pulsing through her, and she knows she won't sleep, but she goes to bed anyway. She tries to read a book, and her heart races. She scrolls through the news on her phone, but it swims in front of her eyes, and she feels suddenly, strangely, and she wants to talk to Josie. Josie with her waxy skin and haunting voice and her dark, dark eyes. Josie who doesn't know Nathan, who didn't dance at their wedding, who had an investment in the mythical mirage of their marriage. She sends her a message. It was so lovely talking to you earlier. Thank you so much for your time. I just listened to the recording and I can see how this is going to take shape. And I really would like to continue with the project if you are happy to do so. Maybe next time we can visit the estate where you grew up, where you first met Walter. What do you think? Excuse me. She presses in and stares for a few minutes at her phone, looking for a sign that Josie has seen it. Then she is replying, but 10 minutes pass and there is nothing. She finally turns off her screen and lies to herself flat, trying to lull herself into a sleep that she knows will not come for many hours. 10 p.m. Josie rests her open book against her chest and looks at the message on her screen. It's from Alex. The sight of her words on her screen sparks something inside Josie, a kind of childish delight, something like a crush. She opens it and reads it in a rush and then again more slowly. She pictures herself on her Kilborn estate with Alex, and she feels a shiver of delight. She can introduce her to her mom, watch her mother's face as it dawns on her that someone like Alex is interested in her daughter. She could picture the confusion followed by, yes, no doubt, a flicker of jealousy. She would think that Alex should be making a podcast about her, the legendary Pat O'Neill. And no doubt Alex would have questions for her mother, but that would be questions related only to Josie. Questions to help Alex find out more about Josie, know more about Pat. Her stomach sticks presently. She doesn't reply immediately, but goes instead to her browser and Googles Alex Summers, spends half an hour flicking through Alex photos, looks at her Twitter feed, at her Facebook page, which is set to private but has a couple of posts visible, at her Instagram feed. She reads listeners' views of Alex's podcast and sees photos of her at award ceremonies in swirling satin dresses. When Josie has had her fill of Alex Summer, she returns the message and realizes that it's gone 11 and that it's too late to politely reply. She sighs, turns off her screen, and picks up her book. From somewhere else in the flat, she hears the muted sounds of her husband's voice. She tucks in her earplugs and turns the page of her book. Friday, June 21st. Nathan finally replies to Alex's message at 6 a.m. She hears her phone buzz on the bedside table, yanks down her sleep mask, grabs her phone, and squints at it. Dang, sorry, don't know what happened. At Giovanni's, blacked out. Please don't kill me. She lets the phone fall back on the bedside table and tucks her mask back down over her eyes. She has 30 minutes before her alarm goes off. She's not wasting it. She doesn't get to sleep until after 2 in the end, and her head is thick with tiredness and despair. She tries to call back the stolen half hour, but her adrenaline is pumping again. Her husband went somewhere last night and has woken up in his friend's flat and doesn't know what happened in between. Her husband who has a career and a mortgage and 2 children to think about. Her husband who is 45. A second later, her phone buzzes again. She goes and picks it up. On my way home now. Please don't hate me. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm such a dick. Once again, she puts the phone down and pulls her mask over her eyes, but now there's even more adrenaline pumping through her. She is enraged. Please don't hate me, like a whiny little boy. She gives up on salvaging the past hour of sleep and sits up in bed. She stares for a moment at the message on her phone and wonders what to do. She decides not to reply. Not yet. Not until her husband has decided. But, but a moment later, her phone buzzes again, and it's him, with a plaintiff Alex. Her hand shakes slightly with rage as she presses call on his number. Hi. His voice is rather small, and it makes her go even angrier. I didn't get to sleep until 2 a.m., Nathan. 2 a.m., waiting to hear from you, wondering where the F you were. And then you messaged me at 6 a.m. and wake me up, and I know my alarm goes off at 6:30. Yet couldn't even wait the half an hour because you're too effing selfish. So yes, thanks a lot, Nathan. I've had 4 hours of sleep, and now I have to get the kids up and get them ready for school, and then do a full day of work, and you don't even know where you've been. Alex, I'm so sorry. It's just F off, Nathan. She turns off her phone and slams it down. Then she gets out of bed and has an extra long shower. By the time she gets to the children's school at 8:50, she is calm again. Nathan has messaged 3 more times, professing his dismay at his own behavior and promises her that it will never happen again. It is Friday, and the weather is forecast to be beautiful this weekend, and Alex is having lunch with her sisters on Sunday, and she doesn't want to add on to the terrible dark feelings that had her in her nightmarish grip of all last night, so she forces herself to let them go. After saying goodbye to the children at the school gate, she is about to turn and leave when she remembers that she has a form that needs to be handed into the school office. She goes to the side gate of the school and rings on the bell and buzz in a moment later. Hi, Alex. It's Mandy, the office manager. Hi, Mandy. This form is for the Natural History Museum trip tomorrow. I'm really sorry. It's been in my handbag for weeks and I keep forgetting to drop it off. Sorry, it's a big front step. She passes a scruffy piece of paper across the desk towards Mandy, who smiles and says, No problem, lovely. I've seen worse, I can assure you. And as she says this, Alice looks at her and thinks, Mandy has been working here for 20 years. There was a celebration for her last year to mark the anniversary. The longest serving member of the staff. Oh, Mandy, by the way, I just started talking to a mom whose kids used to be in the school a long time ago. They're in their early 20s now. I wonder if you remember them. Oh, try me. I've always pride myself on never forgetting any of the children. Roxy and Aaron Claire. A strange shadow passes across Mandy's face. Oh, she says. Yes, I remember Roxy and Aaron. They were Alice and Hales and Wait. Mandy glances behind her at the door to the head teacher's office and then from left to right before leaning towards Alice and lowering her voice. They were a strange family. I suppose you could say. I mean, Roxy was wild, oppositioning, turned over first furniture, threw things about, had to send her a couple of times. But Erin was the sweetest thing, the total opposite to her sister. So quiet, had some issues, possibly on the autism spectrum, but wasn't stated as fair as I can remember. And there was this one time, I think when Erin was in year 6, she was towards the end of her time. Here, Mandy pauses and looks around herself again before continuing in a semi-whisper. She came in with a broken arm, and there was all this talk about how she'd fallen out of the bed, and then one day she told a friend that it was Roxy. Roxy. Yes, her younger sister. She said that she had done it to her. Had to get the social service involved. It was very messy. And had she, the younger sister, had she broken Aaron's arm? I don't think it was ever proven, but the parents were livid. There were some horrible things. One time I ever met their dad, big man, big temper, and the mother, Alice nods, her breath held again. She was really, she was really very odd. Wouldn't say boo to a goose. Wouldn't say boo to a goose. Just stood there with sort of blank look on her face, let it all play out as if it was nothing to do with her. And then they took Roxy out, homeschooled her until she went to secondary school. I seem to recall. What secondary school did they go to? Queens Park High, I think. But yeah, funny family. I always wonder what happened to them. And you're friends with the mother now, are you? Well, I wouldn't say friends, no. Acquaintances? And the girls, have you met them? No, not at all. Would love to know what they're up to now. I never had a good feeling for either of them. Do you know what I mean? Alex nods and smiles. Sunday, June 23rd. On Sunday, sorry y'all. On Sunday, Josie makes a roast. She and Walter eat it quietly at the table in the window overlooking the street. It's the only meal of the week they eat at the table. Afterwards, she liquefies the leftovers with her stick blender and spoons them into a bowl for Aaron. So, why can't Aaron only eat baby food? Like, did they do something where her mouth is like wired shut and she has to? I'm pretty sure we're gonna get to it. But what the heck? Um, she covers it with a plate to keep Fred's snout awake and puts it on a tray outside Aaron's room alongside a chocolate flavored Muller corner and 2 teaspoons. She still hasn't seen him there. The longer she leaves it, the harder it gets. She will go in next week. She will go in and clean. Walter said it's not so bad, but she doesn't know that it can be true, given the smell. She washes up slow. What if like Walter got the gamer on the timer? You know, what if it's like on the timer and like Aaron in their bed or something? I don't want to think the worst, but um, I got like something stuck right here. Jesus. She washes up slowly and cleans the kitchen thoroughly. By 3 o'clock, it's spotless and as nothing ever happened. She looks at Walter and says, "Take the dog out now. Want to come?" She hopes he'll say no, and he does. Sunday afternoon, in the area around Queen's Park is full of the frostum and jetsam of other people's summer days. Half-drunk plastic pints of honey gold largely left to warm around pubs. Crumpled, crumpled blankets at the park, discarded beer cans and pizza boxes overflowing from there. Melted ice cream puddles on the pavement that she has to drag Fred away from. Other people have been out there all day, enjoying themselves, enjoying the weather, enjoying their friends and their children. Other people have been living. At the thought of the extraordinariness of other people's lives, she finds her feet leading her subconsciously around the park and towards Alex Road. She keeps her distance. She will be mortified, completely mortified, if Alex was to see her standing here in the scruffy leggings and her denim jacket, glittering around her house on Sunday afternoon, but she just needs a glimmer, nothing more, of Alex's existence, and then she can return to her flat, ready to deal with the long Sunday evening ahead of her. The view through the front window is obscured by white wooden shutters. The front door is painted a milky blue color that reminds Josie of a particular dress she had when she was small. On either side of the door is a pair of plants in matching milky blue pots, cut into puff balls. She wonders who did that to them, or you could buy them like that. She glances up at the two windows on the first floor, more wooden shutters. The house is a blank face, not like her flat with its huge window that lets in faces of all people on the bus who can virtually see what they're eating for their dinner. After a minute or two, she turns to leave, but then at that moment she sees a group of women walking towards her from the other direction. They are tall and angular, and a split second later she realizes that one of them is Alex, and the other two just like her, and they must be her sisters. One has dark blonde hair down to her waist. The other has strawberry blonde in the top knot. There are massive hoop earrings, big leather bags with tassels, flip flops, black nail polish, long skirts that switch when they move, suntans that from other countries. They are loud even from here. One of them says something, the other two tip back their heads and laugh. So many teeth, such big wide mouths. She watches as they move towards Alex's front door. She recognized the smaller one now from the night of the party at the pub. Zoe. Alice removes a set of keys from inside the bag that is looped around her arm and puts one in the lock, and then there is the hallway, a cat just visible, and a child. She hears Alex says, "We're back!" And then there is the husband, Nathan, with his thick red hair, greeting her distractedly, and they all pile in, and then the door closes, and Josie pictures wine being pulled from the big chrome fridge, and olives being sipped into bowls, and water sprinkled flip-flopping lazily over the yarn in the backyard. And she pictures it, and she wants it. She wants it more than anything. Confident now that Alex and her family are firmly enclosed inside the house, she crosses the street. She walks past Alex's house as if she is simply walking past her own house. But as she does so, she lets her fingertips curl along the timeless plant that graces Alex's front wall. She glances down and sees a remarkable purple and lime green face of a passion flower staring up at her from between the leaves, and her breath catches. She pulls it towards her, plucks it, and holds it in her hand the whole time on the way home. June 25th, Tuesday. Alex stands outside the house estate where Josie was brought up. It's a low-level estate, no blocks higher than 4 stories, built around a playground and several winding paths. Josie appears a moment later. She is wearing blue jeans and a cambray top with puffed sleeves. The dog peers all over the top of the denim dog carrier. "Sorry I'm late," Josie says. "Couldn't get away." Alex leans towards her with a kiss and feels the same awkwardness emanate from Josie since noticing the first time she greeted her this way. "No problem, not at all." Alex turns to the survey of the estate and says, "So this is where you grew up?" "It certainly is. My mom's going to meet us in the community hall. Is that okay? Then you can go get yourself all set up." "Perfect," she says. She follows Josie through the estate towards a squat building at the back. Inside, a woman with dyed brown hair and trendy black framed glasses is pulling chairs around the table. She's wearing a bright print summer dress with strappy sandals. She looks up at Alex and Josie and beams. "Welcome, welcome. I got some juice in and some pastries. She is not what Alex was expecting. Whereas Josie is stiff and unanimated, her mother is all expansive, hand gestures and chatter. She's glamorous too, clearly takes care of her appearance, sees herself as a woman worthy of attention and respect. She sends Josie to make some teas and coffees in the kitchenette and invites Alex to sit down. "So," she says, eyeing her frankly, "I went and listened to some of your podcasts and Josie told me about you. So inspiring. I would have to have a career to talk to you about, but I devoted all my life to this estate. This estate has been my career, I suppose you say. Not that I got it paid for. I do it for love." Alice turns slightly to look at Josie. She has her back to them, waiting for the kettle to boil. "Of course," Pat continues. "My first question has to be, why Josie?" "Excuse me?" "Oh," Alice Nervously, she glances again at Josie's back. Josie has asked her not to mention the truth to her mother about why Josie wants to do this. Just tell her you're making a series about birthday twins, she suggested. Make it sound harmless. Well, why not, Josie? Alex said. That was really my starting point. A woman born on the same day in the same place as me. I guess it was a case of swap baby scenario. But the other way around, we weren't swapped. We went home with the right parents. But what would have happened if we did it? What would have happened if it'd been like you taking me home? If I'd have been brought up here, but you, by you, and Josie had been brought up a mile away by my parents. Nature nurture, says Pat. Yeah, yes, to an extent. You know, I studied social anthropology for a while at Godsmith, but then I got pregnant, she sighed, had to drop out. So yes, there's another what if scenario for you. What if I hadn't got pregnant? What if I finished my degree? Yes, dang. I'd have got off this estate, wouldn't I, for a start? And then someone else would have to be here doing what I do. Except they wouldn't, would they? And then this estate would be a disgrace, like the others around here. So yeah, maybe that's it. I got pregnant for a reason. I got pregnant so that I could sacrifice my ambitions and save this estate. Pat curls off and stares dreamily into the middle distance for a moment. Funny when you think about it. Strange, but I guess maybe everyone has a purpose. Though some are harder to fathom than others. She directs this point towards her daughter as though she pulls out the chair next to Alex and sits down. Alex squirms. This woman, she seems so just loathes her daughter. So talking of getting pregnant with Josie, and given that you gave birth to her in the same hospital on the same day that my mother gave birth to me, what are your memories of that day? Oh God, I try not to think about it. I was 20 years old. I wasn't married. I'd been in denial throughout my whole pregnancy, drinking, smoking. I know that's horribly frowned upon now, but back then it barely mattered, and I didn't look pregnant, not until the very end, while still wearing my size 10 jeans. So I just kind of carried on, and then the contraction kicked in, and I tried to pretend it wasn't happening because I wasn't ready. I really wasn't. I had so much I wanted to do. I was halfway through this essay and I wanted to finish it, and I nearly did, even through the contraction. But then it got too much, and my mom got us a taxi to St. Mary's, and 4 hours later, the baby arrived. What happened in those 4 hours is not something I ever want to think about or talk about again. What time was she born? God, I don't know. I suppose about 8 in the morning. And how did you feel when you first saw her? I felt, Pat stopped. Her eyes go across the community hall and stares for a moment blankly. I felt terrified. Alex feels though she flinched slightly in the chair next to her. Just terrified, didn't know what to do, kept going on about this bloody essay. Finished it. You finished it? Yes. Well, newborns, they just sleep, don't they? Finished it, submitted it, got an A. But after that, I suppose I just surrendered to motherhood, let it subsume me. I always thought I'd go back, finish my degree, but she spreads her hands across the room. Here we are. And in fact, they probably learned more about life, more about people through my experience than I ever could have in a lifetime of studying books. So it all worked out in the end. Alex narrows her eyes slightly and clears her throat. At the end of the hospital that day, when Josie was born, do you remember any of the other women there? Do you remember this woman? She pulls from her bag the photograph that she tucked in there last night. Her mother in a gray sweatshirt and jeans, her blonde hair cut into a bob and perms holding six newborn Alex, or Alexis as she had been named by her parents. In her arms, beaming at the camera. I'm about 4 days old here, just home from the hospital. Pat glances at the photo and smiles dryly. God, she says, Elvis Presley could have been there that day and I wouldn't remember. It's all a blur. It really is. How old's your mom there? 31? Not young. No, not young. She was building a career. Alex sees a sour look pass across Pat's face. Well, she says, nice if you can plan it that way, I guess. Alex blinks. She wants to ask Pat why she didn't plan it that way. She was clever and had ambition. Why did she get pregnant at 20? Why didn't she go back to the university after? But she doesn't. Instead, she slides the photo back into her handbag and says, is it okay if we take a look around the estate so you can show me where Josie was brought up, memories, etc.? Finish your tea first, says Pat, and there's an edge to her nation that makes it sound more like a command than a suggestion. Alice drinks the tea and gets to her feet. For half an hour, Pat guides them around the estate. In the entire half hour, there's running commentary from Pat about her achievements, what she did, when she did it, how hard it was for her to do it, and how grateful other people were for doing it. And it is impressive. The sort of life work that could ultimately lead to an honor from the Queen. And Alex can picture Pat in a smart two-piece suit and a slightly eccentric hat bobbing one knee in front of the monarch, a haughty smile on her face. But it is clear to Alexis Alex that Pat is actually a raging narcissist, and that no child of a narcissist ever makes it out into the world unscathed. This knowledge adds nuance to her real Josie, helps make more sense of her. Pat leads them to her flat where Josie lived when she was a child. Here it's on the ground floor with a flower bed outside. Pat lets them in. Here says Josie, opening the door into a room that is painted pink and dressed for a young girl. This is my room, and this is where I first saw Walter through the window. Alex stands for a moment and absorbs the energy of the room. Pictures of young Josie peering through the slats in the wooden Venetian blinds that had once covered this window. Back in the kitchen, she touches the top of the dining table. Is this where you were sitting when Walter ate your birthday cake? Yes, Josie smiled. Yes, not this table. This one is new, but yes, right here. Alex turns to Pat. Did you know? She asked. That day, Josie's 14th birthday, did you know what was going to happen? You mean with Josie and Walter? No, of course not. I mean, come on. He was older than me. How could I have thought? How could I have known? And what did you think when you found out? You must have felt quite shocked. Well, what do you think, Pat? Issues this is a note of dark worry. Alex took, said Josie. Her face is tense, and Alex takes a breath and stops herself from asking her next question. 8 p.m. Nathan has been extra nice since the events of Thursday night. Not that Nathan isn't always nice, it's just his default setting. But he's been getting back from work early enough to enjoy time in the garden with the kids, to help make dinner, to watch a show and look at homework and chat and be a part of the family. He had no explanation for Thursday night other than that he lost control. He has promised that he won't do it again, and for now, bathed in warm waters of marital harmony, Alex is choosing to believe him. Now, as they clear the kitchen together, he says, "Oh, by the way, I'll be working from home tomorrow." "Oh," she says, "how come?" "Just have a ton of paperwork to catch this morning, no appointments in the diary. Thought I'd make the most of it. Maybe I could take you out for a cheeky lunch." She pauses. She hasn't yet told him about her new podcast project with Josie, but she will be here tomorrow morning at 9:30, and Alex will need to explain her to him. She says, "I got an interview coming in the morning." "Oh, okay. I thought you finished your series. Is this something new?" "It is. It's kind of an experiment, I guess. It's the woman from the club the other night, the one who was my birthday twin. I'm doing a thing about birthday twins. You know, the randomness of life, the otherness of strangers, nature, nurture, this sort of thing." Her face flushes with a white lie, and she turns away from Nathan so he can't see it. Nathan looks at her skeptically. "Sounds different." "Yes, exactly different. Difficult to pull off? Maybe, but actually there are a couple of compelling things going on with her already." "Well, what sort of things?" She draws in her breath. A husband who groomed her as a 14-year-old child, a narcissistic mother, two problematic children, and brushed with social services. But the compelling things feel precious somehow, half circle and delicate. Not yet ready for the judgment of her husband. "Well," she says, "you'll have to listen to the podcast to find out." Nathan raises an eyebrow humorously. "Fair enough," he says. "Fair enough." Alice pulls a full bag out of the bin, ties a knot, and takes it in the front garden. She stops after she drops the bag into the wheelie bins and stares into the inky summer sky, waiting for some time to pass. She doesn't want to talk about this with Nathan, not right now. He doesn't deserve her confidence. He doesn't deserve to know every last thing she does. Nathan has his own priorities, his own secrets. She should have some. All right, we made it to page 80. Do y'all want to do one more chapter? Okay, we'll do two because it'll end in July, and then the next time we read will be July 1st. Okay, what's the battery looking like? Let's get on battery. And we'll do two more chapters. Wednesday, June 26th. Josie is breathless by the time she arrives on Alex's doorstep the next morning. It's all she wanted to do, the only place she wanted to be, and she'll walk extra fast to get there. She pulls a tissue from her bag and wipes the sweat from her forehead and upper lip before ringing the doorbell. She is all primed for the soothing, beautiful face of Alex Summer. As the door opens, but instead there is the husband. His features are rough and raw, a sort of man who is attractive only because of some basic elemental factor to do with chemicals and attitude. There is not one thing on his face that Josie could pick out for special mention. Even his eyes are sludgy, indefinable color. He has stubby eyelashes and a two-day beard growth that contains every shade that his hair can be, from silver to red to blonde. His mouth is tight and thin. He wears a sloppy t-shirt and gray joggers and peers at her curiously over the top of a pair of horn-rimmed reading glasses. He clicks his fingers and says, "Josie?" She nods and says, "Hi, Alex is expecting me." He lurches towards her suddenly, and for a terrible moment she thinks he's going to kiss her, but then she realizes he is aiming for Fred's head. poking out of the dog carrier. Well, hello, he says, recoiling slightly when Fred begins to growl at him. Aren't you a feisty little dude? See, he offers Fred the back of his fingers to sniff, which he does gingerly. He, says Josie. Fred, he's a Pomsey. A Pomsey, says Nathan. Well, I never. Anyway, come in. Alice is just in the kitchen. She appears from behind her husband then, her face betraying some regret that is who he regret that it was he who met Josie at the door and not her. Josie smiles at her and bypasses Nathan. Her arms are brushing against the cotton of his shirt, close enough to feel the clean heat emanating from his flesh. They walk towards the kitchen where the cat is sitting on the kitchen island looking like a pretend cat. The dog growls slightly as they pass. We'll be about an hour, Alice calls over her shoulder to Nathan, who is still loitering in the hallway. Okie dokie, she calls back distantly. This time, Josie tries to absorb every last detail of the kitchen. The fridge, she now realizes, is not chrome at all. It is hidden away inside a cabinetry where it matches the rest of the kitchen. There's a huge cake mixer on the counter that's the same milky blue as the front door. There's an upholstered window seating overlooking the garden shadowed with cotton-covered cushions and numerous shades of ocean blue. There's a row of plastic shoes and boots lined up by the back door. The cat's food bowls are made of copper and the spears around the kitchen table are all different shapes and sizes. How are you? Alex asks her as they cross the line. Oh, I'm fine, I suppose. You seem a bit stressed yesterday. Yes, I was a bit. My mom always makes me feel like that. I know she looks very together. I know she gives off this vibe of being a decent person. All her talk of saving the state and everything, but believe me, she's not what she seems at all. She was a terrible mother, Alex. A terrible, terrible mother to me. Actually, I can see that, Josie, and I'd like to talk about it today if that's okay with you. Josie shrugs. I suppose so. I don't really know. If you think it would be good for the podcast, then yes. I think it would be great for the podcast, but of course you'll get final approval before it goes to air. And if there's anything you don't like, I won't put it in. In the studio, Alice makes Josie a cup of coffee from the espresso machine, and Josie stares at her from behind. She's wearing a long, slimmy top over leggings. Through the fabric, Josie can see the knuckled impressions of her spine and the outline of a sports bra. How was your weekend? She asked her. Oh, goodness. That feels like a long time ago, but yes, it was nice. I saw my sisters on Sunday. They always a good time. That's always a good thing. What are their names? Zoe and Maxine. Nice names. What do you do? Long Doozy Bunch. Long Doozy Bunch? The words wash through Josie like a dream. She nods and smiles and says, that sounds great. Alex places Josie coffee in front of her and then sits down. She tucks her hair behind her ears and smiles at Josie. Right, she says, let's get these headphones on and start, shall we? And I wanted to start where we left off at the Swalter and how you two became a couple. Hi, I'm your birthday twin, a Netflix original series. The screen shows Alex's empty recording studio. The camera pans around the details of the room. Josie's voice plays over the footage in conversation with Alex. The text on the screen reads, recorded from Alex Summers podcast, 26th June, 2019. Ah, yes. So now we're in our 15th birthday. Me and Walter were sort of friends by this point. He always stopped and had a chat with me if we crossed paths on the street. He always waved, said something nice to me. On the day that I turned 15, Walter ran after me when I was walking to school. He remembered my birthday from the year before and he bought me a present. What did he get you? A bracelet. Look, this one. You're still wearing it? Wow. Well, why wouldn't I? We're still together. Josie sighed heavily. And then my friends took me to the park after school that day to rec, and there was this boy. He was called Troy, I think, and Helen really wanted me to, kiss him. I hadn't had a boyfriend yet, and she was always trying to get me to go with a boy, and I did not want to go with a boy because they were all disgusting, honestly. And he'd been drinking cider, and his breath, I could smell it even now. The sourness of it rancid in my face as he came towards me, and I just got up and left. And as I left, I knew that I was done with being the sort of teenager. I went home. My mom said, you're back early. I told her I wasn't feeling well. She asked me if I had been drinking. I told her about the cider and the boys. She told me I had good friends, that I should make more of an effort with them. I said, I do make an effort, but then they do things I don't want to do, and there's not much I can do about that, she said. What do you want to do, Josie? I said, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? What do you want to do when you were 15? She stared at me like she couldn't believe I was anything to do with her, and she said, I want to take over the whole world, Josie. That's what I wanted to do. I said something like, well, I'm not going to take over the whole world drinking cider in the wreck, am I? And she said, you're not going to do it sitting here with me either on your birthday. So I said, fine then. Fine. I'll leave. And I slammed the door and stormed through the state down to the cabin where Walter worked. I was just going to thank him for the bracelet, but I think I knew that's when it was going to happen. I felt powerful then, and she took me to the pub. I sat in the pub with a 42-year-old man, and I was 15, as he poured a shot of vodka into my lemonade, and he kissed me, and I remember looking down at my hands, at the pen scribbled on them from school, and looking down at my shoes, these battered old kickers with these little leather tags that everyone wore back then, and thinking, this is it. I'm jumping. I'm going. I'm leaving this world. I'm entering another. It was almost as if I knew even then that there was no way back. That once I befriended the monsters, that was it for life. Midday. OMG, Alice whispered to herself an hour later after closing the front door behind Josie. She stands with her back against the door, her arms behind her. OMG, she whispers. She closes her eyes and tries to gather herself, but her head is spinning. She's hidden her shock when Josie was talking, nodded ferociously, making encouraging noises of interest, interjected with neutral questions, all the while resisting the temptation to say, Dang, Josie, you married a pedophile. She goes back to the set to tidy up her studio, gathers the cups and saucers, lock it up behind her. In the kitchen, she loads the cups and saucers into the dishwasher, and then she heads to the downstairs toilet, the one tucked under the stairs. After she uses the toilet, she turns on the tap to wash her hands and then stops when she realizes there's no hand wash. She looks behind her, she looks on the ledge that runs along the floor, covering the water pipes. She looks inside the cupboard under the sink. She washes her hands without soap and then asks Nathan when she walks back up to the kitchen, did you do something with the hand wash in the downstairs toilet? Like what? Like move it? Get rid of it? I only put it there a couple of days ago. No, he replies, of course not. Maybe it was your weird friend. Alex scowls at him. Don't be ridiculous. It must have been one of the kids. I'm sure it'll turn up. 1 p.m. Hey, friend. Josie tucks the Josie tucks the hand wash into the back of her underwear drawer with an espresso pod. Homegirl is collecting. Oh, it came in such a pretty bottle, dark gray with cherry blossom print on it, like Japanese art, and it smelled like Alex. The experience of being at Alex's house again has given her a strange kind of energy. Meeting the husband was a bonus, although she doesn't know what Alex sees in him. And using her beautiful toilet with the model glass mirror and crazy wallpaper with peacocks on it. The posh hand washes, the soft black towels hanging from a golden ring, and the interview itself reliving the early days of her relationship with Walter, telling her about her terrible mother, the look on Alex's face of fascination as though Josie was the most interesting woman she ever met in her life. We're reading None of This Is True by Lisa Joy. Buoyed up, she walks to Aaron's front door and puts her ear to the. She can hear the chair squeaking, the buttons clicking, the tiny noises from her earphones. She can smell the layers of her room, but she can't keep ignoring it. It's not going to go away. She pulls down the handle and pushes the door. It's only a few inches before it stops. Wedged up against the tiles on the floor, she calls to the Aaron, but Aaron can't hear her. She pushes a little harder, another couple of inches. She can see a bit of Aaron now, the side of her face, her threadbare, sleepless slippers, her hands clutching the controller, pale and bony. She decides that she can't do it. Not today. Josie brings Alice's kitchen into her mind's eye. The brightness of it, the sweetness of it, the children's drawing pins to the special wall. Then she remembers the way the Aaron room used to look when she shared it with Roxy. It used to have two pink beds in it and a white wardrobe with heart cut out. Where Aaron's gaming desk is there used to be a chest full of dolls and toys. In her head, she hears the sound of two small girls laughing together at bedtime. She closes her eyes and pulls the door shut. I think they killed Roxy. Thanks for liking the live. This is the last chapter of the night. So, my good friend Sean just joined. The reading none of this is true. It's about two women who were born on the same day. One name is Alex, she's a podcaster. The other young lady's name is Josie. Josie is married to this man who she met when she was 15, and he's 30 years older than her. So now she's 45, and homeboy like 72. She has two kids, Roxy and Aaron, who are 21 to 23. Roxy left the house when she was 16, but they didn't say how Roxy left the house. They just said Roxy been gone since she was 16. So I got an inkling that maybe they off Roxy. Um, Aaron, she only eats baby food, or she only eats food that is like liquefied, and she just plays the game all day on this old rickety game chair that she had since she was 16. Her husband, he sits by the window and he works all day. He don't do nothing else, but I mean, hey, he functioning at 72. And then on the flip side, Alex, she has two kids, She's married to a guy named Nathan, and he goes out and he does these benders where he stays out and he drinks all night. He blacks out, forgets who he is, comes home and apologizes the next day. I think it's something that's gonna like intertwine them. So Josie comes up with this idea to be a project for Alex podcast. Alex interviews women who are like successful. They talk about things that happen in their life. Now they're doing better in life, and she wants her to interview her. So she's going through her past of how she met Walter. She talks a little bit about her mom, and I think eventually we'll talk about her kids. But this is going to be the last chapter for the night. Hopefully, the replay on YouTube will sound better as the replay is saved, because a few people told me that it was muffled. But we'll see. If not, we'll try to go back to Instagram tomorrow. Saturday, June 29th. Ooh. Alex searches the chest by the front door for her pull-on rain cape, the one she bought to take a festival a few years back when rain had been forecast for the whole weekend. The warm, dry smell is over now, and the next few days are predicted to be cool and wet. She finds the cape, put it on over her clothes, and then calls for Eliza. She's walking her to her friend's house for a birthday party, about half a mile away. The pavements are full of puddles, and the traffic makes hissing sounds as they pass by. Alex barely touches Josie that first saw the overhanging hood of her rain cape. She notices Og first, looks at it and thinks, oh, a palm tree like Josie. Then she notices a denim slip-on shoe, staying wet from the rain, a denim jacket tied at the waist and a molten belt, and an umbrella printed with denim edge pattern. And she says, Josie. Josie blinks at her. Alex, what a surprise. Not exactly dog walking the weather either, she says. No, it's not, but I could wait all day for it to stop raining, and then Fred wouldn't get any kind of walk. Where are you off to? Alex puts her hands on Eliza's shoulder and says, taking this one to a birthday party just a couple of rows down. She sees Josie's eyes mix over with some sort of longing. Oh, that's nice, she says. How old? 11. Well, have a wonderful time, won't you? Enjoy every minute. She'll be home in a couple of hours bouncing off the walls on sugar and TikTok. Well, enjoy and have a good weekend, Alex. See you next week. Yeah, see you next week. As they carry down the street, Eliza looks up at Alex and says, who is that lady? Oh, she's the lady that I'm interviewing for my podcast. Why? She seems quite boring, apart from her dog. These little kids. Well, yes, but that's sort of the point. The people who seem boring can sometimes have the most interesting stories to tell. You just need to get it out of them somehow. Alex stays a while at the party, long enough to have a cup of tea and swap some school gate gossip with a couple of the other mothers. Then she makes her way back home to the puddles and the umbrellas towards home. As she passes the spot, there she saw Josie on her way home. On her way here, she stops at the start. She is still there. Oh, says Alex. Josie, what are you still doing out in the rain? I don't really know. I was just. She trails off and she looks strangely as if she might be about to cry. Are you okay? Yes, yes, I'm fine. I just. What were you doing? I'm making her feel a lot of things. A lot of things I haven't felt for a long time, you know? It makes me feel like I've been numb. And when I saw you just now with your lovely little girl, I don't really know. To be honest, Alex, I don't really know. I'm sort of some I'm just sort of couldn't get my feet to work. Does that sound mad? No, Josie, no. It doesn't sound mad at all. It sounds completely understandable. And listen, let's get out of this rain, shall we? Come on, I'll buy you a cup of tea or something stronger. Alice guides Josie into the nearest cafe and sits her at a table while she goes to the counter and orders them some cappuccinos. She adds 2 chocolate cookies to the order and brings them to the table, but Josie is nowhere to be seen. 4 p.m. Josie is soaked to the bone when she gets home. She wraps the dog in a towel and rubs him dry. Then she makes herself a cup of tea to warm herself in the pad barefoot into the living room where Walter is on the sofa watching football. You're drenched. Yeah, don't know what I was thinking going out in that. The dog looks longingly at the sofa and Walter looks at him and says, no chance, you stink. Not having you up here. Josie scoops him up and holds him to her chest. She doesn't like him when Walter talks sternly to the dog. She sits on the other end of the sofa from Walter and stares humbly at the football. She hates the sound of football, the dull, moist monotone of male calls, the incessant up and down intonation of the commentators, the whistle and the drums. It sounds like the backdrop to a nightmare and an oncoming army of bloodless killers. It's been a soundtrack of her weekends for 27 years. Since she first moved into Walter's flat, she watched with him in the earlier years, professed her enthusiasm for the game, shouted when their team scored, pretended to be devastated when they lost. Although, no, not pretended, it had been real at the time. Everything she thought, did, wanted, cared about back then had been through the filter of Walter. All she had wanted from the moment they first got together was to please him, to be the person he thought she was, to be his dream come true. She finishes her tea and takes the mug into the kitchen. I'm going to go to bed, she says. I'm feeling a bit shivery. Walter looks at her, concern shining in his eyes. Oh, love, I hope you're not coming down with anything. No, I'm sure I'm fine. I'll bring you some lipstick. Oh no, but thank you. I love you too. But of his the ooh of his final world is torn in half and something exciting happens on the screen and his attention is gone from her. She carries the dog into the bedroom and closes the door behind them. She feels police beating up. She doesn't know what happened to her. The last hour is a blur. The rain had descended down upon her and Alice in her plastic poncho, her daughter staring curiously at her from under the hood of her raincoat, and then a blank. Jen sitting in the coffee shop watching Alexis at the counter, the beads of rain gleaming in her plastic poncho. Then she seen something through the window. What was it? She's not sure. At the time she thought it was Roxy. Had been convinced it was her. Collected the dog, her bags run out onto the pavement, no sign of Roxy. Was it real or was it a memory? A shadow? Maybe just someone who looked like her. In bed, she searches for Alice's podcast channel on her phone and selects one at random. Let the sounds of Alice's voice wash away the black noise of the moving football fans from the living room. All right, that has been the reader for the night.